Hi everyone! As you may know, a part of our espresso machine was broken while waiting for the parts to arrive. We purchased this electrical Moka pot to use as a temporary alternative to make our espressos. So after a week of use, I feel that there's a few things that I need to share with you in case you're interested in purchasing this. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna make the espresso with this Moka pot step by step, and then I'm gonna tell you where I feel there's something that you need to pay attention to. Alright, let's first get familiarized with our machine. And of course, this is the electrical base with a power cord and on and off button. And this is the whole set. Here on the top is this see-through plastic container for your final coffee. And between the cup and what's called the boiler is the funnel, which in a little bit we'll put ground coffee in it, and then also an insert to reduce the amount that you wish to make. The reason is this this whole machine comes with an option of making either 6 or 3 cups of espresso. So if you want to make 3 cups of espresso is where this insert comes into use. So this is our whole set, and now let's grind our coffee. So again, the reason for us to purchase this Moka pot set is for temporary use. So the goal here is to make the process as simple as possible. So we're just using our original grinding method. The only thing is you need to change your grind size. So let's take the camera a little closer. Let me show you what this means. Okay, so originally for our Gaja espresso coffee machine, the grind mark was actually set all the way here, which is on the finer side. However, for this Moka pot, it requires a bigger grinder size. That's why we adjusted to the more coarse side. It's almost between 1 and 2, maybe 1 and a third. So this is, after experiment, the ideal grind size for this Moka pot. All right, to make 6 cups of coffee, you would actually need slightly more than what you used to use. See, this barely covers half of it. All right, it's actually twice as much as we would make, but bear in mind, because it's the grind size is less fine, so there's more spaces between the grinds. All right, so here, remember I mentioned about the insert or the adapter for 3 cups. On the user menu, it's only used when you make half load of the coffee. However, I found it doesn't hurt to just use it for any size to add this additional filtering effect and hopefully maybe add a little pressure. So what I'm gonna do is, after leveling the ground coffee inside the funnel without pressing, it's what's called by the user manual that you should never press this ground beans inside the funnel. So I'll just slightly lay this, and because we are not ready, we'll just put it aside and then prepare the boiler. So what the user manual suggests is that you should not plug your base onto the wall until you assemble the whole thing and ready to brew, for safety measures, of course. However, I found this really helpful little, I don't know what to call it, maybe it's a weight sensitive safety measure, that actually if you put a empty boiler, even with the weight of the other parts, and if you take a closer look, it's not fully engaged, which means even if you do this by accident without putting water into this boiler, your risk of connecting of turning this on is very slight. So anyway, that's a little feature that I would like to share with you. And on the boiler itself, this thing is called the safety pin. You are not supposed to add water above this level, and if you look inside, actually right across this safety pin on the inside, there is this mark for the max water level that you should also respect, and they are around the same. So we're just gonna pour water. It's around 300 milliliter, or a cup and a quarter, something like that. So with this, you have filled your boiler, and then add this funnel with ground beans, and then screw on the top part. It's important to screw the top part closely or tightly. Otherwise, when it starts to boil, the water will not properly, or the brewed coffee will not properly come out to the cup. Instead, it'll come out anywhere else that you will want it. Okay, anyway, so let's put it on the base. All right, now it's fully engaged, and then let's plug, and then turn this on. So you may wonder how long it takes. According to the current temperature, room temperature, which is around 78 Fahrenheit, it takes around 5 minutes. So see you in 5 minutes. Alright, the coffee starts to come out, and maybe not try to do this, but I'm just gonna lift the lid and show you what's happening inside. It's like a hot spring geyser, however you want to call it. So what happened is when the water in the boiler starts to boil, it'll, because of the mechanism, it'll rise through the filter with the coffee grounds, and then be pushed all the way up to the upper container. That's how we get our espresso made using this moka pot. So almost there. Okay, so no more coffee comes out at this point, and press off so it does not keep heating. Well, if I may add, this is one feature that actually disappoints us. We initially ordered this electronic instead of the stovetop version, simply under the assumption that as soon as the brewing process has finished, this machine will automatically turn off for safety concerns. However, it's actually not one of its features. You do have to turn it on, of course, and then turn it off as soon as it finished brewing. So let me bring you to the other side and then talk about a few other things before we enjoy our coffee. All right, so now let's pour the coffee. So here is the one most important thing that I want to share you. That's actually my main reason for this, for making this video, is do not touch the boiler. Harmless as it look like, or plasticky as it look like, it's metal, and after fresh brewing it's super hot. I learned my lesson the hard way. In my first try, it almost burned my hands. So and also it's perfectly okay that you lift the whole unit and then just serve. Oh, see, the condensation is even very hot, but it's not as bad as you directly touching the metal part. So actually, this so-called 6 is equivalent of 2 cappuccino-sized cup that you can fill it almost to the top, and then you can add some creams. So one thing to mention is, even though it's a method of making espresso, but please do not expect the richness or the flavor to be the exact match of real espresso that made out of high pressure. This moka pot gives some pressure, but the pressure is not as high. So the coffee actually, the espresso that made by moka pot tastes more dilute. So don't expect the espresso made by this moka pot method to be as rich or as flavorful as real espresso made by the proper espresso machine. This is it. Again, do not touch this boiler, and just leave it in the sink if you have time to wait for it to cool down. And if you're in a rush to make a second batch, or if you have to clean it right away, then just pour cold water onto it to help it to cool down. I also want to mention that it's actually very important for you to clean this whole unit thoroughly after each use, because I've read reviews that this thing goes rust or does not work or clog up, all due to no proper cleaning. So clean it as soon as you can. So that's pretty much of it, and I hope you find these tips useful. And if you do, please do like this video and subscribe to our channels. We hope to bring you more useful tips and interesting videos in the days to come. Ciao!